we don't know. We haven't fully figured out we haven't really discussed what we're going to do. But
Yeah.
I figured a good way to start is by looking at the different classes and races.
So yeah.
My mate Chris said asked if you wanted what he thought. Do you want to go classes or races? He thought classes, which I can argue. I asked him his favourite class, and he said barbarian.
That's the class that I've played the most. I haven't really had much experience with any other classes. I've played barbarian. I played a bit of monk. Played ranger. Played a rogue. Played a bit of warlock. Cause I've played quite a few classes, but it's just barbarian's the one that I've had the most time with, and I kind of like how they're like angry and able to like take some damage as well.
Well, they are definitely a classic.
Yeah.
And quite very impressively power, like barbarians with a power of rage.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
That being the core of their dynamic. But like monsterlings, they get what is it? They get like a level 1 by default. They get the unarmored defense. So they
which is like already you're like, well, I shouldn't really be wearing any armor because that'd drop your AC. So at the very beginning, you're like almost naked. Like, I don't know why.
How naked you are depends on how you want to make a character. It's not that uncommon for people to go and see a barbarian is basically just wearing a loincloth and a battle axe.
Yeah, I usually put mine in like commoners clothes and that. But they kind of start off with that, and that's all they really wear. Like you can get a rich man clothes at some point, but their AC is not based. Their armor class is not based off their armor. It's based off their unarmored defense.
Although that said, if it's sometimes it can be better to go for armor, but you just can't wear heavy armor. Like heavy armor basically takes away the majority of your barbarian abilities.
Yeah, so I guess you could find some really good light or medium armor that gave you like I don't know special stats or maybe like extras. Like you could like I don't know, just special stuff. Maybe that would be worth it.
I think it might depend a bit on. Like some medium armor, if you went for the top end, the highest AC medium armor, that might beat your unarmored defense. But of course, it depends on how good your stats are, because of course, normally defense is like with light armor you add your dex.
Yes, you do.
Medium armor you add your dex of up to 2, or with the right feat up to 3.
Yeah.
And heavy armor is although, like with both those, if you have a negative dexterity, you would also get a penalty.
That's true.
And if you're going for negative dexterity, you want to go with something with heavy armor, because they don't get any boosts from dexterity. But they also take no penalties.
Yeah.
So
they get a lot of hit dice, like hit points.
Yeah, they get
the most amount of hit points any class can have.
Well, they're the only class to get the D12 as a hit die. But to be fair, they kind of need it because since they are, it totally makes sense. Like normally you would it would just, like as I said, if you are unarmored, you would add just your dex.
Yeah.
But you also get to add your Constitution modifier, which
true. Yeah. Constitution modified to what? Not your armor, but your health.
Oh no, you actually that's how you work out the unarmored defense. Is Dex plus Con. It's
okay. So it'd be here. Dex plus Con. So like I guess you could like rather than be like a strong barbarian, you could be like a dexterous barbarian. But they do have a saving throw being strength. So you kind of have to put in dex, strength, and con.
Yeah, like they are very much. Barbarians are very much primarily the physical strength characters.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't said like the one of the classic icon is the barbarians.
Oh, okay. Well, people that bards and barbarians.
Oh no, the idea is you can make a barbarian as like an entertainer. And Like you don't.
Yeah, I did that. Mine was like one of my first characters was like a gladiator from the gladiator arena. So we got a gladiator and as an entertainer as his background because he entertained the crowds as a gladiator.
Well, it's the argument of you could just be an instrumentalist type thing.
Yeah,
but
I
like it was a bit because it's not really power. I think it's an interesting character concept. But it could be like any time that someone heckles you, it pisses you off.
Yeah.
And you go off and it's like, someone shouts like, someone and the other shouts, "You're rubbish! Get off!" It's like, put down, away the instrument, pull out the battle axe and charge.
Yeah.
And begin hacking off heads and saying, "How dare you criticize me? I am the best. I'm the best barbarian there ever was."
Yeah. So like.
But
level 2 they get reckless attack.
Well, perhaps we should talk a little bit more about what they get at rage.
Okay.
Because
what their rage is about.
So, if I remember right, they at the level 1 they just get the get a D12 dice.
They get a rage and unarmored defense.
They start off where they can only use it twice a day, which
and their rage damage is +2. If they're raging, they do +2 damage.
Yeah, and as they go up, they can do more rages on a day. Like at level 20, they can
unlimited.
But like, but basically it's a bonus action to rage. Like you can do it. Like you can do extra damage, and you gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and damage and slashing damage
while raging. Yeah.
That's like some cases you might see resistance. Like you might see monsters like resistance to this damage against non-magical weapons, but this is against any weapon.
Yeah.
Or any kind of attack or damage you would get resistance to, of bludgeoning, piercing, and damaging.
Yeah.
We'll go into that a second more because there are different subclasses, of course. But as I remember, like barbarian, but so you can do extra damage with damage resistance. But you can only do that. You can't use this while wearing heavy armor.
No, so that's like the downside. You just can't do any of that while wearing heavy armor.
Well, then, as a barbarian, it doesn't make that much sense to be wearing heavy armor.
Yeah.
Because you're meant to be a real tough guy. Like you're meant to be able to take the hit without the armor type of deal.
Yeah.
So, and is there other? I can't like. It's worth noting that they get strength and con as the saving throws, which is they're pretty good saving throws because Constitution there's a lot of stuff like poison.
Yeah, so then they have
if you're going to have an
proficiency in that.
If you're going to have an alcoholic character, it'll make it that much more easier to handle your booze.
One of my alcoholic characters is a barbarian. He's like an oldish guy that's drank a lot of alcohol in his time, and his backstory is his previous adventuring party had been wiped out by some creature. So like he kind of went to the drink, and he became a bit of an alcoholic through that, and he met another adventuring party later on after he became a bit older and became almost like was a bit attached to the drink to have to use it to deal with grief and stuff like that.
I off the bat, I'd throw out Leroy Jenkins. He liked for my character, he liked that guy. Obviously based on a certain well-known YouTube guy, but that guy really liked it. Like what was it? I think he drank was like in one sitting. There was one point where he drank like 6 or 7 kegs.
Was this Leroy Jenkins? Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
when there were times in our D&D campaign thing that we did, weekend thing, that you could go and have a drink, and Leroy always went to drinking stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think that's it. I hadn't actually. I'm not sure why he was actually drinking. I'm not sure if I'd fully fleshed out. Yeah. I think there may have been hints, but I'm not sure he remembers himself. Probably the drink may have distorted his memory a bit.
Yeah.
And which is a bit weird for a dwarf, because normally dwarves drink to remember. So it's unusual for a dwarf to go. If you read the book, it says the idea of their culture is dwarves usually, like humans usually drink to forget, but dwarves usually drink to remember. They'll go and have a drink, and they'll have a drink, and they'll go around to have a chat with their buddies about old times, about the classic mines, about the great battle lords of yore.
But we're not talking about races. We're talking about classes.
Yeah, but anyway, so like again, as I said, can't wear heavy armor. I can't remember everything about the rage.
Right, so rage. You have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws.
Yeah, that's a nice look. I like that little feature, and it does make sense because you know just how you tend to feel so much stronger, more powerful. It's like when you're angry, it's like you got that adrenaline rush. You can do much more with the force and energy to like you want to, and also theoretically, also if you wanted to grapple someone, you should technically get advantage while raging.
Yeah. Because what's grapple? Is it strength?
Yeah, well, when trying to grapple someone, you use athletics.
Yeah, so you use their own body weight against.
Well, what it is, it's would use athletics, which is the one strength ability check.
Oh, is that the only one?
Yeah, strength only has that one skill trait to it.
Oh.
And the opposing person would use either use strength, athletics, or dex acrobatics as to counter it to try and avoid getting grappled. But yeah, like it's kind of a case of theoretically you could say I want to pick up this big rock and use this as a new weapon, and theoretically it should only do one point of damage or 1d4. Like, well,
what are you talking about now? What
theoretically, if you were to pick up and use just a giant rock as a weapon, theoretically. Although
sometimes like with
DM discretion though, DM discretion could say, well, that's a big rock. You could use it as D6 or D8.
Well, like there is a feat in this book called Tavern Brawler, which gives you like proficiency with improvised weapons. But we're not talking about feats. We're talking about.
Well, I'm just saying as to how one way you could use that. Of course, there's just moving the rock, but I'd say that is a little bit situational because until you reach a situation where you're going to burn rages anyway.
Yeah.
Then it's kind of a specialist situation because you need to keep the rage on, and you'd have to burn.
How long does a rage actually last?
1 minute. I remember that part.
Okay, so that's 1 minute. 1 minute in D&D is quite a long time.
Well, yeah, but to use for some casual thing outside of combat, you're better off just having another strong character help you move that big rock.
Yeah, you shouldn't like rage all the time. Like, I guess if it's a big fight, you'll rage. But
and then, look, one of the subclasses, to really use the subclass, you have to have some detrimental aspects to raging. But anyway, you asked on how long it lasts. Basically, it lasts 1 minute.
Yep.
But initially, you have to keep on. You either have to try to attack someone or take damage, or you lose the rage.
Yeah.
So
if you're knocked unconscious.
Yeah. If you're knocked unconscious in either way.
Or your turn ends.
Yeah.
You haven't attacked. Yeah.
However, there's one thing later on where you don't lose the rage unless you're knocked unconscious.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So when you got up to like level 2, you get you still.
Are there any other aspects to the rage I can't remember?
Not really. No, we kind of covered all this now. You have to take once you've used all your rages, you must finish a long rest before you can rage again.
Like I said,
that's not even a short rest. That's like a long rest. So you can only really do that in like a safe space.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the case of like I said, you can only use a set amount of rages depending on your level. Determined by your level stat type deal. You can only do that so many times a day.
Yeah.
Until like I said, level 20, where.
You don't need to do long rests anymore to sort of rage, you just keep doing them. So you only really need to do a long rest or even a short rest to regain some HP.
But it's Well, anyway, let's.
So yeah, moving on to level 2.
Yeah.
You get reckless attack and danger sense. So reckless attack is you can throw away all, like basically, you can attack with advantage using strength, any weapons using strength, but the attack rolls made against you will also have advantage. So any enemies will get advantage, but they with that's regardless of what type.
Yeah.
So like magic and everything will just get advantage on you.
Yeah.
So
So
you can only hit them with melee.
So basically, it's probably not too bad if you're going up 1-on-1 or against weak opponents or. Reckless attack.
There are better ways to get an advantage, like basically having a rogue go around. But we'll talk about that when we get to rogues.
Well, the thing about rogues is rogues can't really help you except for. Like they can't you can get help from another player, but like they would have to use the action to help you to give you advantage.
Yeah, so you'd rather just get it's nice against 1 versus 1 or like weaker characters.
Or like if it's 1v1 and you manage to disable one of your opponents managed to disable the opponent anyway, but they still have a high AC. Like you don't necessarily auto hit, you still have a chance to miss. With
advantage it means you're more likely to hit.
But wouldn't you get advantage anyway if they're like paralyzed or something?
Possibly. You'd have to read about the what the state of paralyzed does.
I know, like basically, some of the creatures paralyzed can take actions or reactions. They can't move, talk, or speak.
Yeah, we're not talking about.
But
I would assume that you might get some advantage or some benefit to it.
Well, reckless attacks is kind of, like I said, it's kind of a situational. It's a cool thing. It's a cool thing to have, but it's kind of a double-edged sword, which you'll set aside the bad joke there.
Yeah.
But,
so after that, again at level 2, you get danger sense.
No, this one I think tends to cause a lot of complications and debates.
So you basically have an advantage on your dexterity saving throws against effects you can see, such as traps and spells. To gain this benefit, you can't be blinded, deafened, or incapacitated. So I guess if you went to DM that really doesn't want you to use danger sense this month, they could blind or deafen you through some means.
Yeah.
Maybe you're fighting a banshee and a banshee just screams and you get deafened by the banshee.
Well,
there's several different things you can do.
There's various spells, like the darkness spell, like that would be a disadvantage, and like you wouldn't be able to see, you wouldn't be able to see a fireball coming straight at you if you're in a zone of darkness.
So what do you think danger sense sometimes can be a bit used too much for stuff like, oh, I saw that, I had danger sense, like that?
Well, there's some that say automatically, oh, I have danger sense, I can see any danger. It's like,
it's not how that works.
I think there are, it's advantage. It's like advantage against dexterity saving throws against certain things that you can see, but it's not like you can see the danger is coming.
No.
Although there is something that gives you something similar to that later on.
Yeah.
So I think that covers danger sense. Level 3.
Okay, so at level 3 you get a primal path.
I think we go into the primal path after we've gone through the thing.
So when you're level 3, you choose either Path of the Berserk or Path of the Total
Well, not necessarily. There are various.
There's also other books you can go other paths.
Like I don't have Xanathar's book yet. I got it on order, but I have a PDF. But I'd rather use the actual book. But we'll have a look at them anyway. We can have a look at. Next time after the book comes, we can have a look at the actual book rather than having to mess with a PDF. PDFs are okay, but it's not quite the same as an actual book.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go into the primal paths. Like some of, whether they're strong or weak, flavoured or unflavoured, it's down to personal taste.
So do you want to go through them now, or?
I say we go at the end. That's why I figured, because.
Okay, so skipping primal path.
Well.
I'm not skipping it, leaving it to the end.
Moving on to the level 4.
Level 4, you get an ability score improvement. Of course, you can use that ability score improvement or a feat.
That is kind of standard for any class, though. Like
Yeah,
you don't.
I like feats, so they're pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, Steve, I'm saying that.
But I guess in other books there's other feats available to you. So is there extra feats and LFRs and stuff like that as well?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay.
But there is. But the point is that most classes by default they get 5, and the barbarian is one of them that gets by default they get 5.
What ability score improvements?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the only exceptions for there are the rogue and fighter.
They
Like
get
rogue
more.
get like 6 and the fighter gets 7. But
Yeah.
but we'll move on because that's the
So
thing.
ability score improvements kind of like your own personal preference,
Yeah.
depending on how you build your character. Some people might want to go like wise barbarians or all sorts. There's probably all sorts
Well,
of
the thing
different
is,
combinations out there.
The thing about that, I think that might be something best addressed. Different thing. I think that might be better mentioned when it comes to feats.
Okay, so level 5.
Level 5 is some interesting stuff.
So your proficiency bonus goes up to level 3. So any skills that you have at level 5, you get more proficiency in.
Again, the ability.
You're still having 3 rages.
I don't think
your rage is just +2 damage, but then you get extra attack and fast movement.
Well, I think the way to go is just to focus on stuff exclusive to the barbarian class.
Oh, okay, but the stuff keeps changing, or is that regardless of class?
Well, yeah, because regardless of class, proficiency rises, and for the most classes you get the skill boost. Like all of them get level 4, they get the skill boost. Most of them get, like I said, apart from the rogue and fighter, which get a few extra stuff.
Yeah.
Like you have all of them, they get all of them get the same proficiency bonus. Most of them get the same skill boosters. So
yeah.
So level 4 is just a skill booster as usual. Move on to level 5.
Okay, so level 5, you can attack twice a turn, which is quite a big deal. Level 5 means you can attack the creature once and attack the creature again.
Just pause note that this is the first attempt. We've hardly discussed what's set up for this system at all. So it's still
just winged it a little bit.
This is still a work in progress. So but anyway, level 5.
So you get extra attack and you also get fast movement. So your speed is increased by 10 feet while you aren't wearing heavy armor. Key is you aren't wearing heavy armor. So as you said, the minute you wear heavy armor, you lose all of those, or ones that mention you can't use heavy armor.
You can't even rage while wearing heavy armor.
Really? Oh, okay.
So
heavy armor really don't use barbarians.
Yeah.
So you can
like heavy armor.
Fast movement is good. It means you increase your movement speed by 10 feet. You move quicker into combat. Without combat quicker. Generally, it's better to have good movement speed in D&D.
Like generally, it also makes sense for the extra speed. Like you'll be quick into action type of deal, and I quite like that.
Yeah.
Like being quick into movement speed, it makes sense for barbarian.
Yeah.
But and you also it's like you've actually gone again. It's like an adrenaline burst, like the others, like reckless attack. Adrenaline burst means you can attack recklessly and you can put more ferocity into your attacks, even though it leaves you open for attack. Like the ability when you rage, the extra adrenaline rush for advantage against strength checks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's really good. The movement is really good. Like it cannot be denied. It's really powerful because few I think that's apart from of course monks. Monks' movement speed is insane.
Yeah, monks' movement speed's pretty ludicrous. So moving on
they're I think barbarians are the only class that get class movement speed without going without maybe a certain subclasses type of deal. But second attack. Was there any other stuff to that?
You just got second attack and fast movement. There's not a lot to either of them.
Well, the second attack, as is pretty normal for a martial class, for most martial classes to get a second attack anyway. It's still a cool thing. Like again, it does make sense for a barbarian because they go from being able to hit things hard to hit things hard a lot.
Yeah.
Like
2 attacks a turn is such a strong thing to have.
But there's strengths there's no weakness to having extra attacks, but some it's not like if it's a bit there's some classes I think that they can have cast magic or attack, but a spell is like your entire action, whereas an attack you attack once. With certain classes twice. Disregarding the whole bonus attack of dual wielding, it's cool, but is a fuffle to get into.
Yeah. So do you want to move on to level 6 or?
Well, level 6 we'll skip now because that would depend.
It's another path feature, so based on later on what path you take, what path feature you get. Path features are nice thing.
Yeah, we'll get into all those in a minute. So next is Feral Instinct.
Just double checking if you get an extra. Yeah, you do. At level 6, you get 4 rages rather than 3. So that means you're more you're gonna. There's more rages before you use.
As I said at the moment, your rages you get at certain levels you reach, and we'll leave it at that because.
Okay.
We don't need to go. It's probably best if people start off this is more to be a case of what we think about the class rather than what the stuff you get because. Because.
Well, yeah, I was just saying how I more rages is better, obviously.
Of course, more rages is always better.
Yeah.
Although, and of course, at level 20, you don't have. As said that. I'm not sure if it's the strongest ability because I think that there's only so many situations.
Other classes have higher.
Well, there are only so many situations you'd really be wanting to actually utilize the rage feature.
Yeah.
Which would be obviously primarily combat. Well, it's kind of the case of how many times we end up in a fight in a day, though.
Yeah.
So that is why, early on, once you stay in game more, it's good. But when you're getting at level 20, basically it's a free way of getting advantage against the strength ability checks and such. But the most before you get to level 20 is 6, and how many situations would you need to rage at 6 times in a day? How much combat would you be having there?
Yeah.
So it's I'd say at certain points you can get so many rages that you gain more rages than you need.
Yeah.
Whereas only starting off with 2 is restrictive.
Yeah, they get better later on. I'd say 4's better than 2.
Yeah, as I said, of course it depends on. It would depend. A lot of things would depend here since it's loaded physical combat, how much physical combat you're going to get into, of course. But with mages, spells you can use more situationally, whereas with a rage or more with a barbarian class, with your raging, that only really applies to combat.
Yeah.
That is of course the nature of martial versus magic classes.
Yeah.
But level 7. Back into it. So basically, one of the things you get, you have an advantage on initiative rolls. Now I like this.
Yeah, I like it as well, but I seem to forget that I actually have advantage on initiative. I'm supposed to roll it twice rather than once.
Yeah.
I feel like a bit of a fool, but yeah, it's a really nice ability to roll twice initiative.
Well, it's to be able to go first, it totally makes sense, and I think thematically it's who is more likely to charge into battle if not the barbarian.
Yeah.
Of course, you could still roll. I remember a few times I rolled as a barbarian. I rolled a 3 and a 5.
Yeah.
It's so that person who has bad dex has beaten me on a they've rolled a 17 and they got +1, they got -1 on dex. They're way ahead of me with +3 to Dex, and with advantage on my roll. But still, it's not a certainty. But still, I like that little feature, and again, thematically, to be more eager to get into the fray of combat, to roar sooner than anyone else.
Yeah, makes sense.
And also, what is it you get? What else do you get? Felt instinct.
Yes, that's the other part of felt instinct. The bit where if someone attacks you with a surprise attack, you have to roll initiative anyway.
So you go when that surprise person goes as well.
Well, basically, you roll initiative and you act normally. There's a standard requirement, which is you need to rage before you do any other action. But if it's combat, you're going to rage anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a barbarian, I think the key. Some people actually do tend to forget it, which is if in combat you have to rage, otherwise you're going to
lose a lot of your abilities. Yeah.
Like you won't get that damage resistance. You won't be able to deal that little extra damage.
No.
Blah blah blah. And so like get the first few turns and then go on and go, wait, I forgot to rage. I would have been able to reduce the damage, but oh no, I wasn't raging. Oh dear. I've actually lost a character that way before, so it's important to rage.
What? From just not raging?
But what it was, my first thing was kind of I didn't rage for the first time. I was like, I think I was against like a troll or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And like they'd done like a lot of bludgeoning damage to me as they pummeled on me. That if I would have raged, I would have
taken half of it.
I would have taken less damage, and I probably wouldn't have fallen as soon as I did.
Yeah.
So it's important to remember to rage, people. But yeah, anyway. So basically, if they attack, like if someone decides to surprise attack, basically you become so honed that you can send that your instinct is, I think, you can instinctively detect when someone is about to try and attack you.
Yeah.
And when someone charging at you, you have a chance to get in and attack even before their surprise attack.
Yeah.
Which I think that's really nice. I actually think that is cooler than the advantage on initiative is cool, is strong, but I think that second part is so much cooler.
Yeah.
Although of course is situational. So, but even so, level 8 standard ability score improvement.
Or a feat.
Yeah. Again, I think that is another conversation. I think we want to go for the question. I think we should just start discuss after this video to what we're going to do next.
Yeah.
Things might be considered rather than doing more classes.
Yeah, that's true. It depends on what we want to do.
But level 9, brutal critical. Basically, if you have a roll of critical hits, roll a natural 20, you'll be able to do that little bit more damage.
Yeah, so you kind of want to roll those nat 20 to in combat.
But you always want to roll as nat 20, so it just gives you more motivation.
Yeah, as a barbarian, you get more benefits from nat 20 than the usual class does.
And as you get to future levels, 13 and 17, you can add an additional die. It's a nice little thing, but it does make sense for you to be able to deal more damage. But it's alright. But again, it's probably it's about as situational as a surprise attack always, because you have to get that natural 20s for it to apply.
Yeah.
But it's still a cool little ability. Level 10, I think that you just get I think it's the path abilities. Yeah, just the path feature. Those again, path features. I think it was 6, 10, and 14.
So yeah, can I just go and grab a drink for a second? Feeling a bit.
Really? On video? Okay.
Well, I could talk to them a bit about
What is it?
One of my characters that I used to play while you go and sort that out. Face.
Sorry,
So, yeah.
folks.
I played my first character was called Dench. He was like an orc, so he was the gladiator entertainer. So he was quite interesting. He would get angry very quickly. So I guess it was quite the classic sort of barbarian thing is to have like a quite an angry character.
Well, it's kind of set innately with all the rage. It's all built around your rage.
Yeah, but some people have like different reasons for raging rather than just I'm angry all the time. Or maybe most people like putting there's a reason behind the anger. Like there's a reason why the anger is happening. But yeah, I've not my character Dench was a good character.
Yeah, well, it's again, like I said before.
But he got dealt with by bees. He died by the bees.
Not the bees.
Bees killed him.
But yeah, like I said earlier, thematically, you don't need to powerhouse it. You don't need to go. You don't need to create a bar. Like you don't need to go. Usually I do go for Outlander because I really like that background.
Yeah.
Like that's just a default. Usually a default.
So what is the background for Outlander?
Outlander. The idea is that you're out in the wilds. Like that means that you are strong at surviving. You know how to find food in the wild if it's available.
Oh, okay, yeah. So do you want to move on to
yeah, like I said before, you could
11?
You could have I don't think we discussed 10 yet.
Well, 10 is just path feature.
Yeah, 10 was path feature. What was level 11?
11 is relentless rage.
I think that was, if I remember right, that was the one where you don't lose your rage until you're incapacitated.
Basically,
I'm sure it is where you
if you hit 0 HP.
Yeah, if you're incapacitated,
and while you're raging, you don't die outright. You can make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. If you succeed, you drop to 1 HP.
Oh, it's that one. And you can. Oh yes, and you can keep on rolling.
And each time this feature is used, the first DC increased by 5.
Yeah, so you can theoretically keep rolling and rolling, and
you just keep getting nat 20, nat 20, nat 20, nat 20. But it can't. Can it? Well, if it goes up to like 25, you can't roll a 25 on a 20-sided dice.
No, but like, what kind of roll do you need to make? Is it a Constitution saving throw?
Well, it's just a DC 10 Constitution saving throw.
Well,
so it starts off at 10, then
well,
gets
the thing is, theoretically, you could roll a natural 20, and if you got 5, so theoretically 5, 10, 15, 20, you can then could you get?
Well, it starts off at 10, so you can do 10, 15, and 20.
You could also do 25 because if you roll a natural 20, because you remember you add your Constitution saving throw. You can
so that 20 could go to 25.
So it could go to 25. I think 30 might be the last one.
Yeah, 30 is a bit of a rough.
Yeah, 30. Well, at high level you could get at high level when you got like +5 to your ability score. Because then if you have 20 in con and +5 to your ability score, and in that situation you can that would be 2 opportunities to get, but like 5, like you saw, like 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I think the most you can manage is 5 times.
Yeah.
But
which is quite a few. It gives you like if there's not several enemies, it gives you like a round of combat before you would be on the floor in saving throw.
But that would be the situation. There would be you would have to roll real well as it gets more and more attack.
Yeah.
Then you could, if I'm correct, do you need can you only use that feature again after you use it? Can you keep on doing that?
Yeah, you can keep rolling the dice until you finish either a short or a long rest. So even a short rest resets it. So you only need to rest for a couple of you can get short rests straight after combat. It doesn't affect a lot.
I was just going to say as one aspect though is that you could get risen up and then you could keep rolling. Like you keep risen up,
then you could keep rolling instead of just outright falling. Unless
Yeah,
you
it gives
rate.
you a bit more resiliency.
So it gives you it basically can help that healer buy that healer a little bit more time from having to heal you as well.
Yeah, because healers get a rough job.
Yeah, well, usually it's a cleric, but yeah, I think that's you go into the nature of what a healer is in an entire video, I think, or a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
Well, like there are healer specialist classes, obviously, like cleric and bard. But of course, for now, we're
Bard, I don't think that good at healing, but we'll speak
again,
about that later on.
As I was trying to say, cleric and bard, but this is not the cleric or bard; it's the barbarian.
Yeah.
Although bard is some debate whether it's good healer. Like there are strengths and weaknesses to all classes.
So
anyway,
moving on from
level 12, I think that's
another ability score improvement or a feat. Level 13.
Was that the one where you don't lose the rage?
No, 13 is brutal critical die. You get 2 dice rather than 1. So with brutal critical, back when we were talking about brutal critical starting at like level 9, when we were talking about level 9, you can roll 1 additional weapon dice damage and determining the extra damage. So if you get a crit, you roll more damage.
Yeah.
Now at level 13, you have an additional die. So it's even more damage on a crit. So yeah, basically you almost become a guy that wants crits because you just get so much more damage from a crit.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, as I said before, it's a matter of situational. It's really good, but it's only really good
if you roll a crit. You're not always guaranteed to roll a crit because a crit is just 1 dice out of 20.
You got 1 in 20. You got like on a standard roll, you got a 1 in 20 chance. At best, you got a 1 in 10 chance. At worst, you got 1 in 400 chance.
Yeah.
I just need to put a bit more light on.
Okay, yeah, because it's getting dark here. Okay, so
as you can tell, folks, we are professionals at this. We are full-on professionals and not amateurs at all.
Yeah, having like a drink midstream and putting the light on. We are pros at this.
This is also going to YouTube, remember?
So we're pros at YouTube. We've got $1 million subscription services. We are both powerhouses in our field.
And of course, we are masters at the entertainment.
Not bad entertainment. So moving on from after the brutal critical dice 2.
Are you looking at the 13 where I think I did mention that you get the extra dice. You get that at 13 and next at 17.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that when we get to 17.
So 14 is another path feature.
Yeah, we'll talk about later when we talk about paths. 15 is
that has to be the one where you don't lose your rage.
Yeah, persistent rage. Your rage is so fierce that it ends early. It ends early only if you fall unconscious or you choose to end it. So I guess your rage will now only end if you fall unconscious. So it won't be just a minute. It will be until you drop.
Yeah.
So that's really good. It means now you can rage for so much longer. If the combat, as some combats start to drag out if it's a hard enemy, you can still keep that rage enemy for a long period of time.
So if somehow that enemy suddenly managed to somehow get away out of your running speed, they teleport for 150 feet.
Yeah.
You can spend your entire turn just charging at them and still hold your rage.
Yeah, which is really useful because some enemies that you face will teleport and stuff like that. So
and then there are creatures, of course, that are white, like if it like this, they were attacking a demon horse type of deal, like a nightmare.
Like a nightmare, yeah.
Like that horse, for some reason, is running away.
Yeah.
Like we're not. I mean, to be fair, you're probably not going to catch up with a nightmare anyway.
No.
But it means you'd have more chance of catching up. If one of your classes has done something that managed to delay them.
Yeah.
It'll give you more chance to try and run up and ready to attack that nightmare in such a situation.
Okay, so after persistent rage, there's another ability score improvement or feat, and then after that you get brutal critical 3 dice.
Yeah.
So it's even more dice. To this point, as we've said, crits pain. But do you not like that as a feature? Like, would you rather have something else there rather than brutal critical?
I like the feature. I'm just saying that it's if you're like this is why you'd want to be using the relentless attack. Really, that's where it comes in because basically you're given more chance of getting that natural 20 you want.
Yeah,
but it's a cool feature. It's good. I think this is a good class for someone who isn't too experienced at playing.
Though I have not got my barbarians very high. I think the one at the moment I've got this highest is level 11. Like I think it's quite hard in D&D to get characters go up to level 20. Yeah. I find it quite hard.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's very few games that go on to level 20 as well.
No, a lot of them might finish early. Like stuff with life gets in the way, and
even before that, like some games they're not built to go on to level 20.
No, some stop at like 10 or something else. So
even at sometimes even level, some cases even level 10 is crazy high to get.
Yeah.
But it's one day I would like to see if I could get a one shot where the group gets to play as a level 20 characters.
You'd have to face quite a lot. You'd be facing a lot of like horrendous things. If I was the DM, you would be facing great big things.
Yeah, well,
it'd be a bit of a test.
I'd say the one shot would be good, like a good chance if we were to get a few. I think you would have to give us like the players would have to get a few cool items to help accommodate the fact that they're level 20. But that
a one shot on level 20 is quite hard to do. Maybe the story is, I don't know, that they complete.
Or maybe what game could be done where you could have a short campaign, but like it's like shorter than normal. Maybe start at like highish level,
or just like you find yourself, you are level 20. You've been on many different adventures in your past. And through doing so, you have gained such and such items.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. And that's kind of a one shot. It would be really nice to get into a chance to play a level 20 character.
Well, I might run one of those, I guess, at some point. If that might be an interesting experience, might it? Yeah. I don't think it's ever been done before.
I'm sure it has by some people. It's just I don't think that people tend to do level 20 things. It's just point is it's very rare. Yeah. Anyway, back to but like I said, those improved critical hits, they are cool, but theoretically, like I feel a bit mixed because it is cool that it's showing, oh yes, you've grown strong and become to do that a little bit more damage.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like doing damage is quite cool, but like on the other hand, if you're in an RP game, that's bland, that's mediocre.
Yeah.
But then that's, as I said, that's RP games work a bit differently too if you're playing more combat heavy, so it does depend a bit on the kind of game you play.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Like if you.
Well, I guess we'll talk about that as another video. Like I don't know, like differences in DMs and all that sort of stuff.
Well, as long as DM, you'll have a certain advantage. But I do want to do some DMing sometimes.
Yeah, so I am a DM, and I mostly do like combat. Like I am trying to get a little bit of RP in a certain way. So I'm going to get help from someone else to try and like add a bit of RP into my games.
I suspect
she's like willing to do put a bit of RP in there, so it would be good. Have us both like work together and try. And I'll do more of the combat side, and she'll do more of the RP side.
I suppose there are. Well, again, I was going to say, I suppose there is the aspect of some DMs work differently. Like some people will find the battle easier, which I think is probably more common because battle is more about mechanics, which some people find easier. Then again, others they may develop better in the RP area, but I think generally to start off, they'll favour combat.
Yeah, I struggle quite a lot to try and come up with like a story and stuff like that. So I always need help from my from the person I'm working with to try and maybe help me like gauge if the creatures I'm throwing at the party are too hard. Maybe gauge them back a little bit, and maybe try and like help us as a team work together to try and create a story.
Like it comes down to experience.
Yeah.
Like I know as a DM, I have an evil streak because I'd like to get a level 6 party. I'd like to throw a Rakshasa at them.
What's a Rakshasa?
Rakshasa, they're like this, like they're like this demonic, they're kind of like tiger people.
Oh, okay.
They're like, I think a CR rating of like 18.
Ooh.
Like, you can sense that I have a brutal streak in me. There is one character actually. If I do DM, it's something I'd like to throw in an RP thing.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of this character that if they attack, they will get killed. Basically, it's a lich.
Ah, yes. Well, I have been in other DM sessions where they have these like RP characters walk around and talk and say stuff, and if you attack them, they will just murk you because they're not there for combat; they're there for sort of like RPing.
Yeah, it's generally in that situation you want to try and say you do want to try and drop the biggest you want to try to avoid staying outright. You don't want to like this will kill you. You want to stay. You have to conceal it in like little bits like this is quite a terrifying creature that I've heard of it. Like okay, so we've heard about it. You know that these are creatures of great power. These are great mages who have dark powers, this is a beast that blah blah blah. And you want to say that you want to give an opportunity to know. Do not attack this character. Is clearly here for RP reasons.
Yeah.
You have to, but that's a different subject entirely. Barbarian, level 18.
Yes, level 18 you get Indomitable Might. Now, Indomitable Might is if your total for I've never got to level 18, but if your total for strength check is less than your strength score, you can use that score in place of your total. So I guess if your strength check is higher than your strength score, you can now. So I don't know if can you try and make a sense of that, because if that's the case, then even if you have low strength at that level, it doesn't matter. You use a separate way of working it out, and then you almost choose that check.
Well, let's suppose you've got level 8. Like you managed to get your strength up to 20. I mean, there's a fair chance you've done that.
Yeah.
Although you may have also have it like potentially 29 if you've got that legendary gloves of like Storm Giant or whatever it was.
Also, basically, what you do is you probably do try and get dex and con and strength as high as possible, and then try and work on the rest of them later.
But, the basic idea is that basically it's one. You know how at level 11 rogue have this abilities that works for any skill they're proficient in.
Yeah.
And here it basically works on strength. But basically, it's like it works different for the rogue ability.
Oh, okay.
But basically, like the idea of this. Basically, let's say you've got 20 strength. Like let's say you roll a 4.
Yeah.
Okay, add your +5 plus your proficiency if you had it. Well, that's what plus that'll be 15, which is but you've got highest. You've got your strength factor, which is 20, and 15. So instead of saying roll, okay, this is a 15, you go roll and say this is 20.
Yeah.
So
so it does improve. Even say if you're still starting out and your strength isn't.
Basically, it's a way of.
You're starting out at that level, your strength isn't the highest it could be. It now becomes even better.
Well, it's more of a safety margin. It means that you won't roll. Or negate you rolling a natural one on a. Well, I'm not sure if it would negate rolling a natural one.
That one is still a nat 1. When nat ones are rolled, me as a DM, I can do some quite funny things. Like I either get them to drop their weapons, or
it's only
what's also quite hilarious that they miss so bad. Did they hit one of their teammates? That's quite funny.
It says only if the work. So a natural one will be a natural one. But let's say they roll a 2. And whatever it is, after they've had their modifiers, is under. If they roll 2 or whatever, anything that they would take their strength score, and if they are proficient in athletics, and they have this an athletics check after they've had their proficiency, athletics proficiency. If after that whatever added with those checks, is lower than your strength check of 18, 19, 20, whatever, you automatically take the 18, 19, 20, whatever your strength stat is.
Yeah.
It's not a bad. It's not a bad. I don't think it's impressive, which it's useful. It's not bad. It's a fair safety margin. 18. So level 19, I think just get the
ability, score, or feat.
As standard to most classes.
Yeah.
And then level 20.
That godly number that not many people, neither of us have ever got a level 20 character.
I don't think. I'm not sure if I've gotten past level 10.
Yeah, I have. I've got one group that I'm level 11 with, and yeah.
Yeah, it's hard enough to get to level 10 unless you started off at level 10 or something.
Yeah.
Which can happen.
I don't like really starting characters off at level 1, but I know some DMs just start them at level 1. Like the group that I was with as a player, I think it's 1 to 11 as a barbarian. But me being a DM, I prefer them to start at like level 5.
Level 5 is a marker section. It's where you're thematically, level 5 is a good level to start because thematically it's a bit like you're just starting to be known a little bit in the world.
Yeah, you're not you're not gonna go out and do
it's not
the very very menial jobs.
Like you're not likely to get a king from far countries say, yes, we need it. We
need those level 1s.
They are like it's like
well, they wouldn't be level 1s. They'd be. We need these inexperienced adventurers to help us out.
Like at level 1, basically the idea is you're nearby and there's like a noble has probably some low level noble has some minor pest problem, like maybe a few goblins or kobolds or like that's why it is by default. Something small, minor, some highwayman maybe causing some hazards or send someone out. Maybe.
Well, yeah, a highwayman sounds quite interesting because you could use a character that's reasonably high. Say if you've got 4 level 1s, you could technically make a level 5 highwayman character and see how 4 level 1s get up against the level 5 highwayman character. I don't know what would happen. You might put a couple of them into death saving.
It might depend on how strong you made your highwayman. That's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically level 20. Basically, it means that you can increase your strength and constitution up from 20 up to a maximum of 20, up to a maximum of 24.
Which is it's good as you can hire that more than it is.
But basically you get that +4 in both those two stats. It can even go beyond 20. There aren't many classes that can go beyond 20. And there's always magic items and such, but that's different. Like magic items are magic items, like they are kind of overriding a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But also, I think that as I said before, that level 20, I think like that's where you can really rage all the time.
Yeah, endless raging.
But as I said, like it's kind of cool, except that the only situation would be if you were having to move a lot of rocks.
Yeah.
And like you're alarming your labor, and it's like you say, I'm really angry at my work. I'm really angry about having to do this menial labor. It's beneath me. I am a mighty barbarian warrior.
Yeah.
And here I am hauling bits of hunks of stone. It's kind of a waste of an ability, but it's one way you could theoretically.
Well, basically means that whenever you're in a combat or anything like that, and you don't wish to rest, you can rage.
Yeah, but
doesn't matter if you're facing 20 different combats before you rest. You can.
But
your rage at the point earlier on is unlimited. It goes on forever until you're incapacitated anyway. So at level 20, it doesn't really matter if you've got a limited rage because your rage just lasts so long anyway.
Yeah, like it's not a bad feature. It's just a case of how many times would you need that much rage in a session?
Yeah, I don't think you do. Yeah.
But like unless you keep getting knocked down and getting back up again.
Yeah, we're never gonna get.
Well, I have to be careful. It's annoying. I can moan a bit about copyright issues, but
I
best
didn't
if I
say
can.
enough of it, so it's fine.
But like, it's understandable though. Okay, but yeah, like the barbarians do get a lot of little things. Like they don't get. Thing is, martial classes they do like more non-magical classes. They do tend to get something at every level. Like,
Yeah.
this is a prime example.
So what? Do some magic classes get nothing on some levels?
Well, with wizards, like half, not something about like probably nearly half their levels they don't get anything.
Not even
Like,
an ability score improvement.
Well, no, they'll get the standard stuff, and then they'll get the stuff from the kind of wizard they chose to be. Like their main thing is in the magic, so they don't get the extra side abilities.
Yeah.
But then again, as said though, magic itself is a powerful thing to have. So if you were to give people like full-on caster abilities, and were to give some as well, in addition to all that magic they can do, something every level, they'll be even more broken than they would already be.
Yeah.
So okay, but yeah, in the player's handbook. Next up, we've not started on the primal paths.
So yeah, I have always played Path of the Berserker. I've never played Path of the Total Warrior. But my characters, Dench and Lorgar, are both Path of the Berserker characters. Both like they get angry, and then they get even more benefits from being angry.
Yeah.
Dench was basically just like a orc that got angry because of his past. Lorgar was someone that got angry at his past, but also was like a drunken rager as well. So there's that.
Personally, I've always favoured as a class, a subclass. I favoured the totems and the berserker.
I've never used the totems, so I couldn't comment on that. I've only ever used Path of the Berserker.
It's a bit like, please don't drink in your cup. They won't be able to hear you that way. But basically, I can understand you. Like, it's a bit like I can't give fair judgment on the berserker because I've not played a berserker. The trouble.
Have you never played a berserker?
No. So we are kind of on opposite sides of the coin here.
Yeah.
But the trouble, what puts me off of the berserker, they get some cool features. But the trouble is, I'm gonna say it. You break them with all like if you have them raging, you break them with the exhaustion levels.
Yeah, I guess so. Frenzy's really good, I feel, because you get you get more attacks, but the
thing is, how many attacks do you actually get? It's worth.
Okay, so you get one extra attack, your normal attack, and your frenzy. So you get
yes, I know. Eventually, as a bonus action, though.
As a bonus action, yeah.
The trouble is, if you look at feats, there's one of the feats that can also give you a bonus attack as bonus.
So you can get even more.
Well, no, it's still the same bonus action. But the thing is that it's one way. You don't have to worry about dealing with the exhaustion as a side effect of it.
Well, the thing with exhaustion is when your rage doesn't end if you don't fall, if your rage only fails if you fall unconscious. It lasts until you end it or choose to end it. That exhaustion will not happen until you're on the floor anyway. So at that point, it really doesn't matter because your rage is basically endless.
Yeah, except the downside is though that if you use the frenzied rage multiple times in a day, you'd only lose one level of exhaustion for one long rest.
Yeah.
Which means you have to be very careful about when you.
Yeah, you only use frenzy if you're in a situation where you might die.
Like I said, I've never really looked at them, but let's have a look. The duration of rage can make a single melee weapon attack as a bonus action on each of your turns after this one. So basically, I'd imagine that's the standard. You can attack with multiple weapons. Basically, if you're dual wielding, like you make an action attack as a bonus action.
Yeah.
Perhaps one I think of it is slightly different. Basically, if you're dual wielding, if you do it without the feats, the bonus action attack, you wouldn't be able to use your ability modifier.
Yeah.
but the feat means that you can. So here you could still use a great axe though and gain as a bonus action, but
Yep.
But when the rage enters, thing is at the early levels you would have to really balance it out. You have to really judge when you're going to frenzy rage.
Yeah.
So I think if you do.
So after that, you get mindless rage.
Yeah. So basically, you need to use. I think you need to use. I think you do frenzy. So I think basically you have
Frenzy's
to.
like your oh no button, where it's like I might die. Okay, I'll frenzy.
Yeah, but it's like you'd have to use a bonus action, I think, to rage. Then you would have to use another bonus action. See, that's something that confused me. It doesn't say when you choose this power, you can go into a frenzy when you rage. It doesn't say how you go into a frenzy. If it's an action.
Frenzy's just you choose to go. So while raging, you can go okay, I'll frenzy, and for the duration of the range that rage happens, you can make extra attacks as a bonus action.
It's not bad, but like I said, the exhaustion is puts me off. I can see the appeal.
Technically, you should only take 1 point of exhaustion. Then after that, it kind of gets a bit harder.
Yeah, well,
but you can afford to take 1 point of exhaustion and still be okay.
If you can, I think the trouble I feel is perhaps a bit more micromanagement. Like it's probably a bit more. I think it's a bit more complicated.
Yeah.
Like I'm late. Sometimes I'm a bit lazy. Can't figure just find details out. I'm not saying it's a bad pack. It just puts me off with the exhaustion.
Okay, so at level 6, through the path.
I do like this bit, not being able.
Mindless rage can't be charmed, frightened while raging. If you're charmed or frightened when you enter a rage, you effectively suspend for the duration of the rage. So that's quite good. So any creatures that either frighten or charm you, you can get out of it by raging. They don't affect you by raging. It's quite a good.
It is. But the thing is, once you cut the rage stops, you then become scared
charmed and frightened again.
Yeah, it still affects you. But I do like the feature though. But I think the basic idea is that you've gone out of your mind now. There's no thought. You can't think of anything except to kill. You don't really care who you're killing, kind of deal. In a degree, it's just like they made you mad. You're furious. So you gotta keep hitting them, regardless of what they may have said, how they may have charmed you, regardless of. Like it's kind of common. It's a bit like going and charging in, and I can't think of it like. It's like your eyes have gone white, completely white.
Yep.
No mind, just kill.
Yeah.
No thought.
Okay. So,
hence the name, mindless rage.
Yeah. It kind of fits me with some other characters the world, like Circular Law or stuff like that. Like Rebel Wars. So, so at level 10 you get Intimidating Presence. So Intimidating Presence is quite a long bit of text here.
Yeah, I think it's basically use an action to basically scare people.
Yeah.
Which it's not too bad. It makes sense.
But this means that you now have to have more wisdom. You have to have more charisma as well.
You kind of need to have your stats spread a bit thinner type of deal.
Yeah.
Like unless you roll for stats and rolled real well. But
and it's annoying that if they succeed on that feat, they succeed on the roll, you can't use the Intimidating Presence for 24 hours. Quite a big sort of like.
Well, there are a few things like that. It's a bit like, you try and poison them, but they pass the test, so you can't poison them. You try and charm them, they can't do it. They only use it for 24 hours. It's not that an unusual effect to be done, but it is a bit of an obstruction, a bit of a nuisance. But if you gotta kill them anyway, it's not too big of an issue.
Yeah. So and then at 14. When you take damage from a creature that was in 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to make a single attack against that creature. That's quite good. So if anyone's doing melee attack against you, you can attack them. You can retaliate and attack them back as a reaction.
There are a couple that do affect the impact. Of course, it's worth noting though that only one at a time. I can't think like
There's one thing that comes to mind. It's a bit like the pole bearer. There's a pole bearer feat. Like they come in within range of you or approaching. You can attack them for their approaching you as a reaction. But it's not a bad thing. But it is also worth noting. Like it's good because there aren't that many things you necessarily use a reaction for unless the enemy decides to run away. And how often do they choose to just run away?
Yeah, that's true.
Like without just trying to disengage, which can be countered by a feat, but you have to wait and catch that feat in order to counter them disengaging from it and running.
Yeah. So you're talk about your path for a bit, because I know nothing about Path of the Totem Warrior. I know someone that has used Path of the Totem Warrior. Like she had some crazy good like resistances. Like you become even more tanky with Path of the Totem Warrior. That's all I really know when she used it.
Okay, so I think the idea of the Berserker is kind of like you've just gone insane. You're just a full-on angry person. Your rage is particularly rageful.
Yeah.
The Totem Warrior is more a bit like, I think a bit of an idea is have some slightly druidic elements. You're more connected, like you're still a barbarian. You're still wild and angry and rageful.
Yeah.
But you're kind of slightly connected to nature. This is probably where particularly Outlanders are particularly appropriate.
So I guess you're close to quite close to nature. Speaking about real like other game terms, you like a bit like a with like wild like a Tauren or something, like a bit closer to nature.
That might not be an unreasonable comparison. Like obviously you could go as a totem warrior of any class. You could probably go for a warforged totem barbarian. Although that is an interesting concept.
Yeah, because you're a construct, but you close to nature. It's a bit.
Although you could argue that it could be originally been constructed. Of course, I feel a strong appeal to try that race sometime. But as an appeal, if you think about it, it's a bit like it could also argue that maybe you were developed by a druid or commissioned by a druid who wanted a mighty warrior who is out there whose purpose is to help protect nature.
Yeah.
And perhaps you're even a prototype for future generations. Perhaps you're the first.
You're the first one.
For this particular person.
Yeah.
Or perhaps you're one of the later models, when older modelers got faulted and let loose while they're working on designing a new model.
What do you mean to do with the Warforged and creating these Warforged?
Well, Warforged, the idea of Warforged is that they're kind of made. Like they're considered creatures, but they are kind of constructed. They're not they're not born. They're forged from alchemical and arcane knowledge.
Yeah.
But of course, that's a race discussion.
Yeah, not.
It's one that interests me, but that's an interesting concept that I think would be interesting to try.
Yeah.
But again, that's kind of a case of you don't need to restrict a class to a race type statement. Like common default for a barbarian often is the half orc. That's probably the usual default too.
Yeah. My character Dench was a half orc. Like orcs are quite good. They get some benefits there. But kind of like the class, I think that are quite close to barbarian. And Lorgar, he's just a standard human. So I've gone from half orc and a human with barbarians.
Mind you, humans are a bit. It's kind of as races go, it's a bit like the jack of all trades type race.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. But anyway, that's a race discussion.
Yeah.
Which, taken out of context, that's going to be a really bad statement to hear. But for D&D terms, that's a different kind of discussion.
Yeah.
But basically, I've not used this too much. Spirit Speaker. Basically, as rituals, you can cast Beast Sense and speak with animals.
Okay. Might be quite useful if you're fighting any creatures that can are beasts and speak. Maybe you can try and reason with the creature before you fight it.
Well, you can only do it. You can't do it in combat because can only do it as ritual.
Maybe before combat, like if you enter in someone's space and you don't wish to fight this creature, and it's a beast, maybe you can reason with it using your spirit.
I like one idea is like you could perhaps cast a spell to go and talk to a squirrel or something like that to go say, craft like a squirrel. Like the idea of talk of animals is of course you get information from animals.
Yeah.
But like it's a useful little thing. But outside of kind, you could get like to ask a little animal if they know is there any imminent threats around. That's a common question to ask. Is there?
Oh, you want to ask like the surrounding creatures of the area. Have you seen anything?
Is there any new threat in the area?
Yeah.
Like apart from us, of course, because we are an adventuring party and we'll probably eat you anyway after we're done this conversation.
Yeah, so you might not want to threaten the thing you're fighting and your thing you're talking to as well. But I guess if you frighten them, they're more willing to talk to you.
Well, it depends. Well,
out of fear.
It's kind of. I don't know what beast sense is. Yeah, that is that is an option. There's a few ways you can go about it. That's an RP situation. There's a cool little feature I think for someone they can speak with animals and have a little bit of like I said, they're a bit like the druid version of the barbarian world.
Yeah.
But basically, speak with animals. Basically, as said, basically for a little while you can speak with animals.
Yes.
It's a nice little thing. But beast sense. You can use your action to see through the beast's eyes of a willing creature.
Yep.
I mean, they'd have to be a willing beast, so
they have to be willing.
But that's where speaking with animals might come in useful. You can see with its eyes, hear with its ears, and continue to do so until you use your action to return to your normal senses. It's not a useless spell, but it's not one I've ever used. While perceiving with your senses, you gain the benefits of any special sight possessed by that creature. You are blinded, deafened to your. Basically, like the find familiar spell.
Yep.
Like warlocks have an ability. I don't know if it's warlocks or it's a general thing, but like there's a warlocks can do it, or there's a warlock with one of their invocations. Basically, you can see through the eyes of your familiar type of deal.
Yep.
It's quite a useful little. There's a useful little bit of scout to deal with occasionally. But still, you have a couple of spells with ritualize, which is still kind of cool, It is a bit more flavouring. But the totem spirit, now this is probably more the bread and butter. Basically, theoretically, you might gain claws or fur or like wolf-eyed
Become
eyes.
a little bit more beast-like.
Yeah. And you get a different ability depending on the type of animal. You can choose a different animal each time you go. Like there'll be 3 stages you can choose a totem animal. Where each animal you can have choose a different. Each time you choose an animal, you can have a different animal, or you can have like the same animal. So you can have the wolf 3 times, or you can have a wolf bear, wolf. You can have wolf. You can have wolf eagle bear, where combo.
Yeah.
Like level 3. Basically, for the bear, you have resistance. Instead of resistance is just bludgeoning, piercing, and damage.
Yep.
The bear will mean that you're resistant to all damage except psychic.
Which is a bit annoying because if something shooting like magic at you, you take resistance to that as well.
Yeah.
Unless it's
annoying.
psychic.
It's annoying from a DM's point of view.
Yeah, it's
as a player, as a player's point of view, it's a bit different because it's a really cool thing. Is that's kind of like if you're going to go with honestly, if you go for the totem warrior, that is likely to be what you'll pick for your first totem spirit.
Yeah, what do the other totem spirits do?
Well, but that is really strong because, but of course it is while raging only. So,
yeah.
But it's still strong. Eagle while raging is disadvantage on heavy armor. Raging aren't wearing heavy armor. As usual, can't wear heavy armor because that scuffles everything.
Yep.
At disadvantage. Other creatures have disadvantage on opportunity attack rolls against you, and you can use a dash action as a bonus action.
Yep.
Which that's pretty strong. like there's only 2 other classes that can use dash as a bonus action,
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's
which
quite.
is the rogue at level 2, which because rogue, and of course the monk if they spend key points.
So you can dash around a little bit,
Yeah,
and that's quite a useful thing. But most people would not pick that over the.
that's the
Most people would not pick.
most
that
people are
over-
going to pick the bear any time with this.
Yeah.
But still, the eagle is still kind of cool if you really want to be mobile.
It's want to be like a really fast, like
Yeah.
barbarian. Yeah.
But the idea like you're swooping through the crowds type of deal.
Yeah.
Like as I say here, the spirit of the eagle makes you into a predator who can weave through the fray with ease. That's a part of the description actually says like that's very much like you're like really good, so you're able to quickly go around people and such.
Yeah.
Wolf for raging. Friends friends have advantage while they're on any creature within 5 feet. So basically, if a friend is next to you within melee range of you of a creature you're with it, you're also melee creature with within 5 feet of you, they can get advantage for the wolf. It's not too bad, but it's only good if you got like another barbarian or another or a warrior or something.
No, I don't think that's what it says. Basically, it says
Yeah.
your friends have advantage on melee attack rolls against any creature within 5 feet of you that's hostile to you. So basically, any creature that was within 5 feet of the barbarian, they get advantage on. So
melee attacks.
Oh, okay.
It does say
melee attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does say that. So the way of improving that would be any attacks.
But mind you, that would be good if you've got a rogue in your party wanting to go in and start cutting up the enemies because they could do sneak attacks. They'd get advantage anyway.
Yeah.
So they would, but then it would become a bit basically increase the chance of basically because you're next to them, a rogue would be able to use their sneak attack anyway.
Yeah.
But you'd have another chance to get that sneak. You'd have a high chance of getting that sneak attack damage in. And the sneak attack, well, rogues are crazy powerful with their sneak attacks. Like that's rogues. That's a different class. But still, wolf is all right. The wolf certainly has his uses. Yeah, sorry about that, folks.
Yeah.
Wolf certainly has its uses, but if you're the only melee fighter in there, that basically.
Yeah, these days, like you kind of only have like 1 or 2 melee fighters.
Yeah.
And the rest is ranged. Like unless you have like a rogue, but then some rogues use ranged attacks.
Yeah, like it's not a bad ability, but it's only good. I think basically, if you're playing with a party, you've got to play with a particular party you're playing with regularly.
Yeah.
Like, then it's good if you know like one.
Really interesting.
If you're gonna go like melee, if got at least one melee rogue in, or a paladin, or a fighter, or another barbarian, it's cool. But if like the way our Saturday groups were working, where like groups would be mixed around with the players.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work so much because you don't know who you're going to end up playing with, so you don't know if there's going to be another black session, and then that becomes a bit.
Yeah, it'd be interesting using it in like I've always wanted to do this for maybe like an all melee like party or an all range party. Just be interesting to see like everyone as a group moving up, all of them doing melee attacks and stuff.
Well, an all melee party could maybe work theoretically, although trouble there is like a spell while they're busy fighting one ally, and suddenly a wizard appears, fireball destroys the entire party. That is, there are risks to every group, but like with ranged, trouble with ranged ones, you don't want an all ranged party because the melee melee enemies will just come into melee range.
Yeah.
And then the ranged attacks would get disadvantaged. So if everyone's getting disadvantage on their.
So they both have their uses at different times.
Yeah, that's why you tend to have a mix on melee and ranged. Like of course there are ones that can do both melee and ranged. There's specialization.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the bear has to be the strongest one of that. I think that's what most people will snag.
Yeah.
Or at least, I think it's what most people snag. If not everyone, at least usually snag that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they will probably go for one of the others for flavouring, which is understandable. And they're still okay. But bears are still the strongest. Aspect of the beast. Basically, the bear basically doubles your carrying capacity,
Which is useful.
including moving, including you have advantage on the strength checks made to push, pull, lift, or break objects.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a bit like that. Basically, overcome the need to. In one of the aspects is a case of you get advantage while raging. This gives you advantage outside rage.
Yep.
But like, I quite like that myself, but it's kind of a case of. I think this is that's still a bit kind of flavouring, but
yeah,
I really like it still. Although you will essentially become the pack mule for the party.
Yeah.
You have to accept that. The eagle, you get eagle's eyesight in a sense. You see up to 1 mile away with no difficulty, able to discern even fine details of looking something so no more than 100 feet away from you. And dim light doesn't impose disadvantage on the wisdom perception check.
But if it doesn't mean you have dark vision, does it? It just means you can see a long way.
Yeah, which it feels a little redundant since they don't tend to do too much for that detail anyway. DMs don't tend to play with what is far away so much.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you did grab that, the DM would have to be wary if they are saying something. If they were to have you make a perception check for that distance, they'd have to be wary of the fact that you have the state of the eagle.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be a way of that'd be a bit of a, if a DM was going to determine something far away is hard to see, they would need to bear in mind that the barbarian in their party has taken that, so they'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
And like I said, it seems more flavouring to me. I mean, the strongest part is probably not having disadvantage on the perception checks in dim light, but still. Yeah. Gain and wolf. You can track other creatures while traveling at a fast pace. And moving stealthily at normal. Like, theoretically, traveling stealthily, you can only travel half pace.
As a wolf, you can travel full.
Yeah, like that means you can travel at normal pace. And being able to travel at fast pace while tracking someone means that you're more easily able to follow the person you're looking for.
Well, that's quite useful. What can you track? Like anything?
Well, no, it's what you would be able to track normally, because normally you wouldn't be able to track creatures at a fast pace. Because
they don't leave much of a footpath.
Well, it's because it's kind of, I think basically the idea is that now you can better see the marks that people have left behind, so you're not having to look for them so much.
Yeah.
And so because you're able to better see the markings, you're able to move at faster pace. Spirit Walk at level 10. Basically, cast Communion with Nature, but only as a ritual. Again, the thing is, barbarians aren't really magic users, but I think Communicating with Nature is quite a powerful spell, if I remember right. I can't remember what these spells do, folks. I should have researched this before. But I think basically you can detect, like, I don't know if you can speak with plants, or if it's that you can sense creatures, things around you.
Possibly, I don't know.
I'm checking on it. Commune with Nature. You instantly gain up to 3 facts of your choice by any of the following subjects as they relate to the area: terrain and bodies of water, relevant plants, minerals, animals, or people. So basically, theoretically, if you could check to see if there's loads of diamonds around in an area. That would be a cool little feature to know.
Useful as well. You make a bit of money off the diamonds.
Well, I don't know if it would count as a mineral. Maybe. But animals or people, or another option is powerful celestial fae, beings, elementals, or undead. If they're nearby, you can sense them with
It can be up to 3 miles, this distance you can sense. So it's quite a range away. So you are looking for a lich. If you have time to spare, cast that if you're within 3 miles. You say, that way.
Yeah. So when choosing that, like,
Also, it says you can do it for buildings. If the DM would let ruins count as buildings, you can sense where ruined cities are theoretically.
oh, okay. So yeah, on that little bit there, which one do you usually pick out of those three?
Are the aspect of the beast, the
Yeah.
6th level. I usually use a bear myself.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like,
Do other books have other aspects of that particular one, or you don't know?
I might have seen them might have been other versions. I can't remember for sure.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, but a bit of flavoring, like they appear as spiritual versions of one of the animals you choose,
So is that
than
with
whatever.
wolf, or is that?
A spirit walker.
Okay, so
10th level. This is the 10th level.
yeah. So spirit walker, you couldn't cast commune with nature.
So you can sense things from up to 3 miles away.
Yeah, so we spoke about that.
Next will be totemic attunement. Basically, the next totem creature you choose.
That's quite interesting then. So what
Can
you
do with nature or
the spirit walker, you can we were just explaining to me, right? You can look for quite a few things in that spell.
Like if you're
but you can only cast it as a ritual.
Yeah.
And there's a risk to that because if you're like interrupted while casting it, you can't cast it.
Yeah.
You have to kind of be outside of combat. It's very certain circumstances.
As with ritual, the thing is though, like you can use it you can ritualize it as many times as you want.
Yeah.
And you can get that's quite a good bit amount of information you should acquire if you think about it, because you can cast it and get certain types of information, and if you cast it again, get the other bits of information. And like it's quite a versatile sense of things you can get information on. But like it is a bit situational, but it's a cool little spell to be able to use, even if it says a ritual.
Yeah.
And it could effectively save your druid having to memorize that spell if you're prepared to ritualize it, because 3 miles is quite a distance.
Yeah. But I'd probably be more. There's quite a few things you can do by choosing an animal that's not one of your aspects.
Oh, you're going back to the animals again.
No. Well, there's not your aspects. So, like, I guess if you'd like, I don't know, if you want to be seen as one of those creatures, you could be a different creature and try and like dupe the creature you're talking to.
Well, you don't really dupe the creature. The idea of this spirit creature is like not duping them. It's like this is the spirit essence. This is like the spirit guide of yours.
Ah.
Like they aren't out to dupe you. They are here. They'll present this information of the area for you, and they'll do it freely and willingly. But they're only restricted to the nature of what the spell can cast.
Okay. So you're on to manic attunement.
Now a beast selection. You can choose again. You can choose a different animal, the same as any of the others you've done before. Bear. While raiding any creature within 5 feet of you that is hostile to you has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you, or targets other than you, or another creature with this feature.
Yep.
Basically, like if I was next to a thing. Remember that feature where I had Ancestral Path with Leroy Jenkins? If I attack a creature, if I manage to get hit, I choose to mark them for my spirits.
Yes.
Remember that and you had to keep attacking me.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I could only attack you. Yeah, that was quite annoying.
Without gaining disadvantage on. That is
kind of made me focus you a little bit.
Yeah, like that's kind of like it's kind of basically helps reinforce you being the tank.
Yeah.
So, which helps, and which is we're having advantage on all. But only if someone makes an attack though, because if it's like fireball, that doesn't really help your allies because there's no disadvantage that they would gain because they just fireball the entire area. But it's a cool little thing. An enemy is immune to this effect. It can't see or hear you, or if it can't be frightened.
Yeah, so I guess if you make some creatures can't be frightened, all that thing's
Well,
kind of
no. The idea is that if it can see and hear you, and it can be frightened, but if it's immune, if it's blind, deaf, or immune to being frightened, no effect.
Yeah.
Which still quite useful. It's still a useful little thing.
Yeah.
Like an eagle, basically you get a flying speed equals your current walking speed.
Okay, so that's quite good then.
But it only works in short bursts. You can't go fly up into the air for the like. You can't fly up into the air
Infinitely.
for 120 feet. Because after 120 feet, you just plummet back to the ground. It's small bursts. It's not actual flight exactly.
So that's a bit new.
Well, the thing is, though, the idea is you could fly over long, big canyons of 120 feet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's not like, or you could fly.
They're limiting it slightly.
Or you could fly over enemies to get to. You could fly over the row of guards in front of you. Fly over them to get over to the evil noble that they were guarding, and then hack at them.
Yeah.
So it has its uses. But you can't go right up there. It's not a bad thing, but I do think I've not gone to use these level 14 abilities myself, but so we can't really judge either way.
Yeah.
But the wolf, as a bonus action on your turn, you can knock a large or smaller creature prone when hit it with a melee weapon attack.
Which is really good. In my opinion, the best one out of those, I think, has got to be the wolf. To be able to knock down a large or smaller creature prone, you get quite a lot of disadvantages of being prone. If you can just knock them prone.
But again, though, that doesn't hurt. If it's only the one enemy, it will give them certain disadvantages to ranged attackers.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know how, like I said before.
Why? Because they're less of a target to hit.
Ranged attackers, basically melee range. Basically, you're busy trying to adjust because it's ranged attack.
Yeah.
You're having to adjust your disadvantages because you're right next to them. You have to prevent to dodge in case they attack you.
No, I meant say if you knock the wolf and you knock them over prone.
Yeah, but that's what I said. Like, there's that issue I was saying with the melee ranged attack and melee range. And as you say though, with a ranged attack, basically they're just a straight clear target.
Yeah.
If they're near the ground, they are kind of lower to the level, so it's harder to see theoretically.
Yeah.
So, it's like in that case, if you have a lot of ranged attackers, you're kind of screwing over your ranged attackers unless they have like acid, like you'll screw over your ranger, for example.
Yeah.
Who would have disadvantage on their with their longbow.
Why? Because it's prone or because it's too close?
Because it's if the ranger is far back, but the target that you just knocked down is prone, they would have disadvantage because the target is prone. So you'd be messing up your ranger.
Yeah,
who is
true.
a distance away.
And some of those, most people that play rangers don't want you to make them disadvantage.
Yeah, well, who wants to be rolling disadvantage on anything?
Nobody.
So it is a situation. It's if you're going up against one, then if you're doing it can be useful if you want. It can be useful if you've got a couple of melee characters to go in and attack.
Yeah.
A blow while they're not prone. We have a viewer. Hey there, Falling Chiron. How goes it?
We've had quite a few people dip in and out. You just probably haven't noticed it.
It could be so. Well, to be fair, this is applying more for YouTube, really. I want to be careful about stating names because is it fair for the people?
Well, he said hi, so I'm going to say hi back to him.
Like if they comment, then that's another matter. We'll react to a comment, but they've just dropped in and out. But anyway, so yeah, I think that of the three, like they are good, but I'm not really going to try either because I've not gone a barbarian that high level.
Yeah, you've not got barbarian level 14, no.
Like I don't think I've gone higher than level 10 on any character.
Yeah, and we spoke about this earlier. Like sessions seem to end before that happens.
Like people can't make it. The DM has issues. There's all sorts of possible outcome reasons for the issues.
Yeah.
Where it happens. But yeah. So that's the classic book. Now, as I said, I have Xanathar's book on order.
Do you want to do a bit of jiggery pokery with the PDFs, or do you want to leave it there with the barbarian?
I suppose what we could do, we could maybe do part 2 another time after Xanathar's card.
True. We'll do like part 2, the Xanathar bit.
We started this about quarter past 6. So yeah. Perhaps what we should have done is just talk about barbarian in general, then save it for a separate video for the classes.
We kind of talk about barbarians in general. What do you mean?
We talk about barbarians and their subclasses. Maybe we could just talk about barbarians and the standard stuff they done and do it at a separate time when we did the subclasses.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do that for the future classes we discuss, where we separate it main part and then subclasses, and we do it part 1, part 2.
Makes sense.
Especially when we're talking about the wizards and the clerics, who have a ton of subclasses.
Yeah.
Like, I think the wizards, like, in the book alone, something like 8 subclasses.
Okay, that's quite a few, yeah.
Then there's a couple in Xanathar's. That's at least 10 subclasses. Yeah, we'll do part 2. We'll discuss the ones from Xanathar's in a shorter video.
Yeah.
Because I think there's only 3 there, and I don't see my phone to hand at the moment, or the PDF. And PDFs are a bit of a fuck anyway.
Yeah, they're not like books.
Like PDFs are useful, but I prefer a book.
Yeah, books are good.
Well, I think that's I think the way to go is
But yeah, barbarians seem to be most characters. Most people that play D&D, one of the like first ones that people pick. Like most people, like their first class is barbarian.
I think that's the second part. The part 2 is we can discuss who we perhaps idea concepts we have of a barbarian, like what class, race, what race we perhaps like to do as stern barbarians, like I said mentioned earlier, the totem warrior, warhorse. We can discuss that next time. We can discuss how we're going to do that for next VOD. Because this is already nearly a couple of hours long.
So yeah, do you want to end it there?
Yeah, we'll call this the first part.
Yeah, part 1.
It was probably been longer than I was hoping for about an hour. We've been nearly 2. So we'll try to figure out how to cut these a bit shorter without just cutting with half, because that's a headache. I'm too lazy. For the Mixer stream, Mixer viewers, we'll take a break, come back, probably play a little bit of Lego DC Villains.
Yeah, that should be good.
But we need to get something to eat, something to drink, stuff like that. Well, we've already had some drink. We shouldn't have drank it mid-stream, but too long.
We've got some things to learn for next time.
Yeah, but still, I enjoyed this back and forth flow.
Yeah, it's been good.
But hopefully we'll have it fine-tuned for the next video, and hopefully by the time we get into the end through all the classes, we'll become expert masters on super fine-tuned epic awesomeness.
I wouldn't get your hopes up too much.
Well, it could happen.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so
we'll see.
We'll see you guys later.
Yes. See you guys later, and talk about more D&D in the future.
Well.